Hello, this is my tutorial level that I created after completing the Paper2D tutorial. I went on and created a custom level using the same assets. So this is just a quick little level. I have the ability where the player can fail and fall down here, and then they can get back up. So there's a different route. Death also works, so that the player is not just soft locked if they die. You can go up there, or you can go around. Whichever way. Going up is the faster way, but if you fall, then you just have to go the slower way. There's not much of a punishment. And then you can just climb up here. You can make this jump. If you don't make the long jump, then you can fall back down and try again instead of just dying right off the bat. But now, there's the actual threat. And if you fall here, you'll actually die. And then you can go down here, and you can get to the end. Hello, this is my custom project, which I've taken to titling Overgrown. It is a 2D side-scroller where you have to cut down plants in order to progress through the level. So let's start out. So this is the first level of Overgrown. So you go over here and you find this plant and you can't get past it. So the only thing you can do is shoot out your sickle and it cuts down the plant. And also you can collect these little collectible seeds that are scattered throughout the level. So here's another puzzle. You can just cut that one down. The plant will grow out and give you a platform to get back on top of here. And the same goes over here. This is just teaching the player that they can use it to raise up and just reinforcing that idea from later. Now, it's a slight obstacle where the plants are growing from the ceiling, but not to worry, you can just cut them away again. But they'll grow towards you, so you gotta get out of the way before they do, or else you'll get stuck. But you can just cut it out if you do get stuck. And then, this one's just like a side one, but you gotta go lower, so you gotta cut it out of your way. And then, this is the final challenge of the first level, where you have to learn that you can chop them in a certain sequence, like a certain timing, and you'll be able to use it to climb upwards. So I can cut that one, but then I can't get past that one. So I gotta cut both of them, and then I gotta cut this one again, and I can jump on there, and I can get to the end of the level. Now, we're on the second level where things get a little tougher, but this game is not very difficult, so no challenge is very, very difficult. So you can get up on here. This one's just a little bit more complicated of a climbing puzzle where you have 3 instead of 2, and then you can fall down, get that nice satisfying amount of collectibles. Just a small climbing challenge here. Get around. And go over here, collect this collectible. This is a little bit of an interesting one, but you just cut it and then you can get around. And then there's the little optional challenge that the player can do, where if they want to take the time and they've learned the mechanics well enough, they can go up here and get a few extra seeds. Otherwise, they could just go to the end of the level, but I like completing everything, so I just grabbed a few. And now we're on level 3. So you start out with having this little bridge that goes across that prevents you from falling. If you fall, you just die and restart the level. It's no big deal right at the start. So yeah, that teaches you that plants can grow across gaps. That teaches you that you can jump across gaps, or if you fall in, that you'll die if you fall into a gap. And then this one, you're sitting on a plant, but you gotta climb up. But you gotta make sure that you don't cut below you, or you'll fall down. But it's not too likely that you will, so it's a pretty easy obstacle. Now you gotta do the reverse and you gotta cut down, but you gotta make sure that you don't throw your sickle too far or you'll fall all the way into the pit. And this way you can climb up here and you have to cut this one away, but I cut it away, but I can't get up here just by myself. I have to jump on the plant's underside to go on top, and that's hinting for the challenge to come down here. So here you can cut that one, and oh no, I can't get up here, and I really can't get up here either. So what I have to do is I have to cut the plant and wait for it, and then I can jump on it as it's growing and get up here. And then once I'm up here, I can wait for it to grow, grab that seed, and I can finish the level. And now we are on the final level, and it has a moving platform that goes across. It starts after a few seconds, but I was there talking, so it started moving without me. And this one's pretty easy. You just kind of got to cut the plants out of your way so that you don't get knocked off the platform, because if they block your way, then you'll fall off. But It's pretty easy. And that's the game. So I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And now I'll show some of the additions and how I implemented them to the game from the base tutorial project. So my favorite addition was for sure the sickle throw. So it's pretty simple. It just spawns a projectile and calls the shoot method on it. And the way that that projectile works is when it gets the shoot event called on it, which is called when it spawned, it moves component 2, and that component is the location of the mouse cursor in the world. So it'll go there over a course of 0.5 seconds. It'll ease out, so it kind of has like a really smooth animation. Getting to the position. Once it gets there, it'll turn the collision off. That's to prevent it from chopping plants on the way back, because occasionally it would chop the one that the player was standing on, so I got rid of that. And then it moves the component back to the player. Once it has done that, it allows the player to throw again, and it destroys itself. And then the other additions I added are collectible seeds. They're pretty simple. They're just like basic sprite actors, and it's just like a little seed. And when the player walks over it, it adds to it calls the collect seed method on the game mode, and it destroys itself. And all that the game mode does is add to the incrementing counter and play the collectible sound. It's pretty basic. And also it has the HUD also besides that also has a bound value to the seed count, so that you have the seed count counting up in the top right corner. And then the other addition I added was the moving platforms, which in my case are the plants themselves. So the way that they work is they are actually just an animation, and each frame of the animation has its own collider. So that's how you get like the moving up effect when the player's standing on it. And then when it is hit by the sickle, the plant gets cut down to frame 0, which is the smallest size, and it plays the sound that it's cut, and it spawns a particle system, which is the final extra effect that I have. So I added a Niagara system, which is a particle effect that is just like leaves bursting out everywhere, and they kind of fall down. So the way that I did that is I used the omnidirectional burst template that was built in to the engine. I got rid of the extra nodes that it had because I didn't need the trails or the trail ends. I just needed like the actual particles bursting. So I got rid of those. I made a material out of a sprite that I made for leaves. I added that on it, and then I shrunk down the size so that the explosion wasn't too large, and just made sure that it fell down, and I really like the effect. And yeah, that's about it for the changes and the additions that I made to the project compared to the base Paper2D tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it. Bye.